Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Slow Crafting podcast. My name's Nadine and I live in the northwest of England, and you can also find me as Crafty Nadine on Ravelry or through my blog themendingknitsofnadine.wordpress.com and through my Instagram, which is endeavours. Okay, this is a bi-weekly podcast about incorporating a slow living or slow fashion approach into my crafting endeavours, so covering knitting, spinning, crochet and sewing, and something a little bit different today. Right, what am I wearing? This is, for those of you who've joined me in previous weeks, this is my hand spun sweater that I pretty much made up as I went along. It's finally finished. Well, I haven't woven in the ends and I haven't blocked it, so it's still a little bit lumpy in places, but I can try it on to show you. So here we go. There we go. It's got a rolled hem, not a rolled hem at all, a folded hem at the bottom, and short, not 3/4 length, not even, probably about half length sleeves, elbow length sleeves, and a roll neck or polo neck, and knitted with a circular look, knitted top down, and used 5 skeins of my sort of mismatched hand spun from various different stages of my sort of spinning experience. It's predominantly merino fibre, because that's what I used to buy when I first started spinning, although there is some mysterious and unnamed British wool, British long wool in there, and some bamboo and some soya as well. So yes, I'm pretty pleased with it. It's a very relaxed fit, as you can see. I don't quite fill out all this jumper. A snugger fit like that's probably more flattering to my figure, but it's a comfy jumper, and I think it's one that you could live in quite happily. So yes, I'm really pleased with this. I'm just really not looking forward to weaving in all the ends. There is some beaded, I doubt you're going to be able to see, there's some tiny little beads on some of the yarn as well, because that was one of my experiments when I was spinning up some different types of yarns. One was to do with beaded yarn, and it's nice. It doesn't feel as, because there's quite a few beads on the inside as well, just because of the nature of how you knit it, but doesn't feel weird and lumpy on the inside like I thought it would. But yes, I'm very pleased and very happy with this, and as I'm cold all year round even though it's sort of edging towards summer, I will still get plenty of wear out of this. Right, so that's my what am I wearing that's handmade, and my finished object for this week. I haven't got a massive amount of things to show you this time round, because I've been quite busy with a couple of projects that, whilst I've involved a lot of work, haven't got much that I could show you by way of an end product. The first of which was I agreed to do a product review for the Minerva Crafts website. So I've been beavering away with that, but that's not due to come out until June, I think, on their website. But I will link you up to that nearer the time. But that was fun, but it involved quite a bit of work. It's a bit bizarre. When I was studying, a long time ago that was, it asked me to write 1,500 words for an essay on anything to do with psychology or criminology, which is what I did, and it'd been like pulling teeth, but 1,500 words for a review of a craft product? Not a problem. So yes, that was quite fun actually, and I'm hoping to do some more of those in the future. What else? Yes, the big thing was I decided to take part in the Initiate Knit Design Challenge run by Frenchie from Aroha Knits. It was a run over the course of 10 days, and every 2 days you got a challenge linked to encouraging you to sort of spark your own design and creative process. So I think the first day was the initial idea, so coming up with some inspiration for what you wanted to do, whether it be a colour scheme or just a choice of yarn that you wanted to work with, or a particular texture that you like the look of. The second day, I should have written these down, I didn't. The second day was to flesh out your idea, so take your inspiration and work that into an idea for a finished item. So go, right, I like this texture, and that's my inspiration, and I'm going to design a cowl or a scarf that has this particular texture in. So that was day 2. Day 3 was swatching, so in my case lots and lots of knitting to work out just exactly what stitch pattern would work to achieve the overall look you wanted for your design. I'm still doing the swatching because 10 days was not enough, or 2 days in this case was not enough to sort of finalise what I wanted, because my design did veer towards quite a complicated design, but I'll go back to that in a minute. And day 4 was maths, or for Americans out there, math with no S, and that was sort of working out your cast on numbers, your number of rows you needed to knit, and overall sizings for your end product. And then day 5 was application, so putting all those things together and actually writing it all up, or starting to write it all up into a finished design. Sorry, I'm leaning forward today because I've got the camera quite low down on the table, but it's a rather unfortunate angle because combined with my polo neck, it's highlighting my double chin issues, but never mind. It's not what you're bothered about. I shouldn't be either. Yes, so that was quite good. Well, actually, no, it was very good, and Frenchie from Aroha Knits gave a very clear sort of set of instructions for what you needed to do each day, and it was good seeing all the other people taking part with various different levels of experience when it comes to knitting, and you know, there was a wide range of designs that they were coming up with, so that was lovely, and you know, it fostered a bit of that community spirit, which is something that I'm always looking for when it comes to knitting. So speaking to other people that love the same things as you do is always a good thing. But yes, but rather surprisingly, well, actually it was a massive surprise when I woke up the morning after the closing date for the Initiate Knit Design Challenge to discover that I'd won the grand prize. Now, before you get excited, it wasn't because mine was the best design, it was random number generated, and it was really did make me happy. The grand prize was that you got free enrolment onto Frenchie's Swatch Studio, which is a more in-depth design course that she runs. So I'm hoping to start that in the next couple of weeks, well, not the next couple of days actually, because she's already started sending the videos out, and I'm really looking forward to that. She takes on every semester that she runs it, she takes on about 50 odd students, so you know, you have a nice wide pool of knitters to talk with and chat with, as well as working through the process, so that looks like it should be fun. But on top of that, I also won a license fee for Stitch Mastery, which is a knitting or knitwear charting program. So that'll be quite fun, because the geek in me is itching to have a go at that, and it will help massively when it comes to charting out the design for the lacework on my my wrap that I was designing for the Initiate Knit Design Challenge, and I also won some yarn spot, or a voucher for some yarn. So yes, now I've got to decide what to spend that on, which is nice because I'm always reluctant to add to my ever-growing stash, but if it's free, I'm quite happy to have that come my way. But yes, so that was a lovely surprise, and yes, made me very happy. Right, what I was saying about the item that I'd started designing for the Initiate Knit Design Challenge links back to what I said in episode 6 about needing sort of 1 or 2 couture pieces in my sort of expanding handmade wardrobe, because whilst this jumper is a fine example of my practical everyday knits and makes and sews, it is useful to have just 1 or 2 pieces that are a bit dressier or fancier that you can wear for when you have events or weddings, christenings, etc, etc. So I thought the lace shawl or wrap, because it's a rectangular sort of stole, would be well, fun to design but also useful, and something that there was a gap for in my wardrobe. And yes, so that's been quite fun. I used some vintage yarn that I had in my stash from that one of the ladies at the knitting group that I used to go to that passed away. I think I mentioned her a few episodes ago when I talked about the Jolly D crescent shawl. It was some of the wool that had been gifted to the group when she passed away. So yes, I think it's from the 60s possibly, and it's still holding up well, and it's nice to knit with. It's 100% wool, Scottish wool I think. It doesn't say more than that, and there aren't any ball bands on it, but I know it's Scottish wool because I saw the original kit, because it came in a boxed up kit with what did it have? It had some woven fabric made from the same wool, and then you got balls of wool, because I think the original idea was that you would knit a sweater, a short sleeve sweater with the wool, and then make a skirt from the fabric that coordinated. But at the time I thought that I didn't have room in my stash for the fabric, which I'm absolutely kicking myself about now, because it would have been marvellous. But never mind. Right, so those have been the 2 things that have been keeping me busiest over the last fortnight. And the other thing, which the bit, as I said, is it's a bit unusual, or not one of my regular segments that I've been doing over the last 2 weeks, is, so I'm looking at the pile of stuff here I've got for showing you, is some visible mending, because whilst it's nice making new things, we should actually, no, I shouldn't tell people what to do. I think that it's best for me if I also take care of my existing wardrobe items as well, and make do and mend, so repair them where necessary. But I decided I could have gone down the route of invisible repairs and being very precise and perfectionist about it, but that's not what I wanted. If I've repaired something, I think it's always going to be obvious that it's repaired, certainly with my level of skill when it comes to repair work. Professionals probably can do it with it and be absolutely invisible, but with me it's always got to be noticeable. So I decided to take a leaf out of Tom of Holland's book and go down the visible mending route. So whilst in some of the items I've gone for sort of sympathetic looking mends, so nothing too brash and bright and glaringly different, it's still very obviously patched and mended. Now, for those of you not familiar with visible mending, I suggest you head on over to Tom of Holland's website, or just Google Tom of Holland and he'll introduce you to the subject a lot better than I can. And for those of you that just like pretty pictures, if you head on over to Pinterest and search for terms sashiko repairs, visible mending, cantha embroidery, that'll probably bring up some visible mending as well, and wabi sabi, which is WABI SABI. Now the sashiko and the cantha are just types of embroidery. One's Japanese and the other one's Indian, I think, and you know that they are applied to a wider range of topics, particularly quilt making for both of those. But those approaches have been used quite widely in the visible mending sphere as well. And wabi sabi is I think the Japanese art of mending things and making them more beautiful. So I think it possibly originated around pottery and repairing it with gold looking repairs. Don't quote me on that, just go and have a look it up for yourself. It'll probably be a lot more accurate and a lot more informative. Right, so what did I mend? I had 3 dresses that were all very similar. I got them from just a high street shop. I think I probably had them about 8 years. Clothes stay in my wardrobe for a long time, as they should. If I'm all about a slow fashion, then they should stay in my wardrobe a long time and not be replaced within a matter of months or a matter of a year or so at most. But yes, this was my first attempt, so I don't know how clear we can get that. Okay, on all 3 dresses, the bottom button had, because I have quite meaty thighs, had pulled when I'd had bottom button fastened, and when I'd sat down and my legs had squished sideways, it had pulled the button, and that had created a tear in the fabric. It was sort of an L-shaped tear on all 3 of them. So I decided to patch it with some similar but not matching fabric, and then do embroidery along the top. So just simple running stitch, which is pretty much what the cantha and the sashiko embroidery patterns are made from. This is probably more cantha because it is just straight running stitches. The fancier patterns were probably more linked to the Japanese sashiko. So yes, I don't know if you can see, I cut the button off, patched it, embroidered over the top of it to reinforce it, and then sewed the button back on. So that's the first one. You can't actually see much of it when the dress is buttoned back up. You can just see a bit of it poking around the edge. Probably not helping today that the sunlight's quite bright from that side. But that was the first one, so that was my first attempt. And I thought it's not perfect. So I thought I'd try a bit harder and see what I could come up with. This was the next one. So that was a bit more obvious, just because of the fabric that I used for the patch. So I've echoed some of the running stitch, well, they're not running stitches in the fabric, but that's slightly echoed in the running stitches on the patch, and the dots on the fabric are echoed in the French knots on the patch as well. So I think this is probably one that I'm least happy with out of all of them, but like I say, you can't really see it once the dress is fastened up anyway. and it means that I can wear the dresses again, so that's always a bonus. Right, okay, the final one of the dresses. See, I really quite like this one, although it's more obvious in the fact that it's a very definite area of different design to the rest of the fabric. I think the patch itself blends in better on this one, and you can just see the embroidery to reinforce it, and that one was quite enjoyable to do. I do need to get a lot neater and work on my tension, because there is some visible puckering which I'm not convinced will entirely disappear with ironing. But yes, so they've extended the life of some items in my wardrobe. And one more thing, when I got a bit braver, I decided to have a go at the corduroy trousers that needed some attention. On the back here, I'd been probably very naughtily hoiking my trousers up by the belt loops and had popped it, so there was a hole here. So I patched it with a few layers of cotton, and then embroidered around the edge of the hole just to strengthen it and make a decorative feature on it. So I think this, I really like the look of this, probably more so on these trousers than the embroidery on the dresses, but I think it works better on sort of the thicker items such as this corduroy, rather than it wouldn't have worked so well on the lightweight cotton fabric for the dresses. But I do have some other areas that need repairing on these trousers. So we've got a patch here, you see it where the cord rubbed away, and it's down to sort of the base fabric, so that all the stripes are rubbed off on that patch. And I've got a similar area on the bum or crotch area. Now, I haven't repaired these yet for one big reason, is that I said I need a lot more practice to make them as neat as I would possibly like them, but that means that I'm not confident enough to tackle such a very visible area. I mean, with the dresses you can close the fastening and it's almost hidden, or with the top of the trousers you can just have your jumper coming down over it and it'd be hidden. But I think particularly with the one at the crotch, I could very easily make it look very messy and like I'd had a dreadful accident in my trousers if I did it wrong or not as neatly as I could do. So before I tackle those patches on the trousers, I think I'm going to have a little bit more practice. Just in general, I'm sure there's plenty of other things that need fixing around the house, and it will probably be beneficial if I wait till I get my embroidery books back out of storage as well, because they might have some more interesting and exciting textures or ideas that I could incorporate, because I don't think I'm going to go for a straightforward running stitch reinforcement or visible repair on the trousers. I think I'm going to veer towards the definite embroidery style of the repair on the back of the trousers. But the thing is, I don't want anything too floral either, which is my problem, because I could do all sorts of lovely floral stitches, but you know the jeans that they went a phase of having, which had all the floral embroidery on, they were not my cup of tea, and I don't want to recreate that on my pair of cords and not want to wear them. So I think something a little bit more abstract or possibly a little bit more geometric would work better for me on that front. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it for this week. Talked about my jumper that I'm wearing, I've talked about the Initiate Knit Design Challenge and the product review that I've been doing for Minerva Crafts, and then I've talked about my visible mending. So I think that's it, and I shall see you in 2 weeks' time. If you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to comment below, or drop me a line over on the blog, which is themendingknitsofnadine.wordpress.com. Alright then, see you next time. Bye bye.